Leviosa, not Leviosa. What's up, Wizarding World? Welcome back to Wizarding Wiz. I am so glad to see you here yet again because today we are going to be covering the spells in Wizards Unite. Now, there are about 14 of them as of right now. Whether or not they are going to add more in the future, we don't know yet. I'm kind of hoping they do, but we're going to go over the 14 that we do have, what they are, what they do, and how to cast them. First, we're going to start off with one of my personal favorites, mostly because I'm lazy, and if I could use this spell to bring things to myself all the time, I totally would. This spell is none other than the Summoning Charm Accio, or Accio, I guess, depending on who's pronouncing it. It's a very simple charm to perform. It's a simple arc motion with your wand, and this charm will summon any object to the caster. Now, while I'm sure this spell will come in handy in Wizards Unite, I'm not exactly sure yet what we're going to use it for because we don't have the game yet. This next spell is great if you are thirsty or your house is on fire. It is Aguamenti. It is also a semi-simple spell. It's kind of a sideways S done in a backwards motion. And this spell, of course, makes water appear from the tip of your wand. Pure, clear, drinkable water. So useful if you are maybe stuck somewhere and need water, or like I said, if your house is on fire. Have you ever locked your keys in the car, or maybe locked yourself out of the house, or maybe you lost the key to that lockbox that you've got your special trinket in and now you can't get into it? Well, this spell will help you. The Unlocking Charm Alohomora. It is cast by doing almost a full circle and then a straight line down the middle and saying the words Alohomora. It does make you wonder why they even bother using normal locks instead of locking a item or a door or whatever the case may be with a different spell that Alohomora cannot unlock. Speaking of Dumbledore, here's another one we see him use. This is the Slowing Charm, also known as Arresto Momentum. Semi-easy to cast. It's kind of an M shape with your wand and the words Arresto Momentum, and this will cause any falling object or moving object to slow. So if you drop something from a high height and you use Arresto Momentum, it will slow the velocity and hopefully it won't break or you won't break depending on what is falling. Of course, if Alohomora doesn't work for you, you can always try Bombarda. Bombarda is a spell used to break open doors or windows that have been sealed. It actually detonates a small explosion in the target area, and of course because of this is also known as the Exploding Charm. Our next spell is a bit less exciting, and I'm not sure if it's one that's actually used in the Harry Potter series, but it will be used in the game. This spell is called Combat Bolt. It's a generic offensive spell that is cast simply by moving your wand in an upwards, almost lightning bolt shape without an incantation, presumably, because it does not give one. I do think that this spell is probably similar to like the Knockback Jinx or something along those lines, where it'll, shoot a bolt of energy at your opponent, knocking them backwards or otherwise rendering them incapable of performing a spell of their own for a few seconds, giving you an upper hand. And speaking of being in battle, if you find yourself tied up and you still happen to have your wand with you, you can always use the charm Defendo. Defendo is the severing charm and can be used to cut pretty much absolutely anything, including chains, ropes, handcuffs, things of that nature. It is cast by doing a Z motion with your wand, kinda sideways, and of course saying the words Defendo. Now this next spell definitely seems like it would be fun to cast on somebody, even just as a joke, because it definitely is fun to say, and that is Ibublo. I can't even say it with a straight face. Ibublo. And you make kind of like an E shape with your wand, and what this spell does is literally entrap your target or anything that you are casting the spell upon in a giant bubble that cannot be popped through physical force. So this next spell actually ties in pretty well with my typical departure from you guys and my warning to watch out for Dementors. It is Expecto Patronum. Now we all know what this spell does. It casts either a silvery, vapory Patronus or a full-on corporeal Patronus, which generally takes the shape of an animal, to charge down Dementors. And it is a very difficult spell to cast, and it is cast with a swirling motion of the wand and the words Expecto Patronum. You do need a happy thought to help you cast this spell. Now, back to the Ibublio spell real quick. A way that you may be able to end this spell to get out of this bubble is to use the spell Finite Incantatem. Finite Incantatem is cast by making a diagonal line first with your wand, then a vertical line straight down, then another diagonal line crossing the first diagonal line almost in an X shape, actually in an X shape with one line on the side, and saying the words Finite Incantatem. This spell is typically used to stop easier jinx and spells from continuing on, so you may be able to use it on Ibublio if you are trapped in a bubble. Once again, if you find yourself in a duel, you can always use Flipendo, which is a complicated little motion with your wand, kind of like a sideways Z, where you come down and then up on a diagonal, and then down again, but instead of leaving just that little down, you give a little hook at the very end, and of course you say the incantation Flipendo, and this spell will knock back any opponent facing you. If you're somebody who likes to go camping, and you don't always bring matches or a lighter with you, or maybe even some kindling wood to start a fire, you could always use the spell Incendio, which is a spell for starting fires and is actually pretty simple to cast. It's essentially a triangle shape, but instead of the bottom line being straight across, it is kind of a hook this way. And you say Incendio. And then you go and you find some sticks and some marshmallows and some graham crackers and some chocolate, and you make some delicious s'mores. Or you can use Accio just to summon all of those things to you. Now, this next spell is a nifty little thing to use if you find yourself on magical maintenance somewhere and somebody decided to make it rain in somebody's office. This jinx, of course, is Meteolo Jinx Recanto. Kind of like a swoosh and then another swoosh the other way with your wand to cast. Now, this charm is actually a counter charm to stopping weather modifying charms, and I definitely could have used this charm last week when it rained for about 4 or 5 days straight here. And finally, our last spell will definitely come in handy if you find yourself face to face with a Boggart, because they take the shape of the thing that you fear most, and the counter is actually very, very simple. All you need to do is think of a way to make the most scariest thing to you possible funny, and say the words ridiculous while doing a kind of V shape down into a backwards J shape motion with your wand. And then when it turns into funny thing like an acromantula with skates on it, you say ha ha because it makes you laugh, and the Boggart goes bye-bye. So that finishes all 14 of the spells that we currently have in Wizards Unite. Whether or not they're going to add more, we have to wait and see. I'm assuming that hopefully they will in the future. And when they do, we will cover those as well. Until next time, stay safe and watch out for those Dementors. You can even use Expecto Patronum, but me, I'm just going to disappear.